stop being lazy. Yeah. And I became creative. Yeah. And I learned how to create it. And now that pride's for me. So come see. Oh, come here.
Welcome back to the Silver Lining Atlanta Falcons podcast. I'm your host, Sterlington, and we have the return of our co-host who has made it back from across enemy lines, Cam Turner.
Yes, what's up, baby? Feels good to be back.
Feels good to be back. Feels good to be back. And it feels good to have something good to talk about when you've returned.
Oh, my goodness, my boy. When I tell you, so I'm not gonna lie. Going into this game, I had a bit of I had some doomer vibes. I won't say I went full doomer, but I took a little hit of the juice.
just a little bit, right?
A little hit of the juice. And man, when I tell you, what a game to miss. I'll put it this way: if it means our offense if it means I gotta miss these games for our offense to perform like that, hey, I have no issues watching on Monday.
Yes, Cam, ready to make a sacrifice that a lot of us couldn't make. He was like, "Hey, man, you know what? I'll just go ahead and sit this one out and do what we got to do." You know, we sometimes, you know, when you're a fan, you be super superstitious. Yeah, man. Look, it was a lot of good stuff to take from this last game. You know, obviously we're about to head into the bye. We might talk about the bye this episode. We might do a whole episode on the bye. We'll see how this episode shakes out. But Cam, what's your immediate thoughts on the most recent game that the Falcons played? That 34-27 victory at home over the Commanders. What you see, man? Go ahead, rap with us.
Truth be told, man, it was everything I'd wanted to see going into this season. At the beginning of the year, I believe Raheem mentioned it before. He's like, hey, the way our team is set up, the way we made these draft picks, the way this talent is set up on our team, we're going to be playing with leads a lot of times. So this defense is going to have to be a bend, not break, and just hold on to the leads that we got. And we honestly did not see that weeks 1 through 3. I mean, we kind of saw a little bit in weeks 2 when we played the Minnesota Vikings. But in general, we really wasn't seeing that. And I'm just thinking like, man, especially after that Carolina butt whooping, what is this man talking about? Like, our defense is going to have to be able to hold and live on for a prayer because our offense just can't get it together. And then we fired our receivers coach. And then Zach came on down to the field. And I guess he needed that field eye view because, we got off to a hot start, 10 points in the first. I'm like, ooh, baby. Exactly what I needed.
Look, I definitely felt like the communication was better. It's the first game all year. I felt like the play call was getting in on time.
And it felt like the receivers and Michael Penix were on the same page.
It did, man. I can't lie.
Because I want to say, how many games has he played so far? He played 3 last season, 4, so he's played 7 games.
Yeah, and this was the 7th.
So the first 6, it seemed like a lot of times the receivers and him were just not on point. Now, granted, there have been some plays where like, oh, okay, they're making it work. But as in general, a lot of miscommunication. And man, when I tell you, it seemed like that was immediately fixed. Like the guys were on the same page. I'm like, okay, I can work with this. Man. Like I was very impressed by our offense, and that says like because I was a main shit talker.
Yeah,
I was talking a lot of shit about Zach.
We don't say good things about Zach on this podcast very often. Like
I was talking a lot of shit about Zach.
Yeah,
because if we keep it in the buck, we really hadn't had that kind of offensive performance. We had like 2 last year, and they were both against the Bucks. And then,
I mean, we had a decent one against the Cowboys. Decent.
Yeah.
I want to say we had one more good offensive explosion. Maybe it was the game against Carolina, in Carolina, the one Andy Dalton started.
That one was okay. It was kind of close in the first half when we kind of leaned on them in a run in the second half.
And I mean, if you want to like count them all, I guess we had a great offensive performance against Carolina in the last game of the year.
Yeah, you could say that as well. You
Yeah,
could say that as well. But it's been very inconsistent.
very.
There have been times where it just hasn't clicked. Guys haven't been on the same page, and it's been very frustrating, especially as a fan.
I know, man.
But it seems like they finally have. I don't want to say have turned the corner, but they've taken a step in the. Excuse me. They've taken a step in the right direction, and
Yeah,
that's what you want to see as a fan. That's and honestly, as a fan, that's all you can really hope for. Is that your team plays complementary football, competent, complementary football, like offense doing well, defense playing well, special teams is filling in the gaps. So just to have one of those games, like I wouldn't say like our defense didn't play lights out. They played how Raheem wanted them to play when he mentioned that statement at the beginning of the year, like how we're going to play with a lead. So they finally fit into the description that Raheem was talking about. So it feels nice, man. Like I'm really liking Jeff Ulbrich, bro. He got
look,
them rookies humming, bro.
you look. We said one of the biggest issues with Jimmy Lake was that he had never called plays for an NFL defense. I think experience is kind of one of the things we both kind of over the last couple of years was something that we looked into. For me, I know with the head coach you hired, regardless of who we hired to be head coach of the Falcons, I was like, yo, man, I want somebody who got experience being a head coach.
Oh, of
Tired of
course.
like breaking in all these new shoes, and then they don't fit anyway. After after we done broke them in, we turn out the toe still too tight. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like I'm
Got
talking
my
about,
bunions hurting.
yo, man, look. And I think about it, we done like basically had a first time head coach. Um, I want to say ever since Blank started hiring coaches for the team. So when he inherited the team, or when he purchased the team, he inherited Dan Reeves, and he was like the only head coach with previous head coaching experience. Afterwards, it was Jim Mora Jr. Because obviously senior had previous head coaching experience. So Jim Mora Jr., Bobby Petrino, Mike Smith, Dan Quinn, Arthur Smith. All five of those guys were guys that did not have any previous experience as head coaches. And some of it worked out. I appreciate what Mike Smith and Dan Quinn contributed to the franchise, but I think I said that too. And so now with Raheem, we getting a guy with coach with previous experience. He ain't been perfect. He done had some issues for sure, especially with that clock management a little, because at the end of that first half in Washington, he had a little bit of questionable clock management. Now, I think if I try to like take what happened in that moment and say to myself, all right, what was Raheem doing there? I think it made a little more sense when I think about what he's trying to do, but I think he needed to be more decisive. So what I think he was trying to do was he was trying to see if we got to stop first, and then, all right, we got to stop. Now we're going to try to score. A lot of people wanted him to use timeouts beforehand, but it's like, well, if you use that timeout and then they get a first down, you just wasted the timeout for them. And then also on the flip side, if you use that timeout, you do get the stop, and then you go 3 and out. Now you punting the ball back to them with time left. So he probably was thinking about that. But then also when we got the ball, he's trying to score. But it's like, nah, you gotta pick one. You gotta choose. You know what I'm saying? You can't walk the line, because now you setting yourself up for this to go bad either way. Whereas you can just let it ride. Say, hey, we just gonna take this lead in the half, or hey, we're gonna go all in on being aggressive and not this half and half thing that he did. But I say all of that to say, clock management could still use some improvement, but I've been pleased a little with Raheem's decision making and handling in terms of handling the overall picture, right? And what I mean is, and where I say, I want a coach with experience is, he's a guy who, when we see how certain things have played out, he's saying, all right, I made some mistakes. It's time to fix those mistakes. So, one of the first mistakes he made, hiring Jimmy Lake and Zach Robinson at the same time, like to allude to your point that you championed for a while, was if you can be a CEO head coach, why are you hiring two rookie coordinators? You know what I'm saying? And so he acknowledged that was a bad move. Now, firing Jimmy Lake was not necessarily the biggest brain decision for a head coach to make. Yeah, your D coordinator sucked all year. There was clear points where he put his hands on the defense. Defense played better. He took his hands off the defense. Defense looked bad again. Clearly, you can't leave him in charge of that unit. Easy decision. Get him up out of there. You know what I'm saying? But he made sure to hire a guy who had previous experience, a guy whose work he trusted. Is showing off so far. Zach Robinson up in the booth clearly was not working. I would have liked to see them address that sooner. You know what I'm saying? But to be fair, Zach Robinson was in the booth all year last year. It wasn't a problem, right? Um, Now I think they mentioned having problems with the headsets. In hindsight, I think I'm calling bullshit on that. I think that was the
Yeah,
perception.
I'm calling BS on that too.
Yeah, I used to. I kind of was like, oh, okay, I thought so because how poor it was. I'm like, nah, your headset's got to be messed up because it does happen. It happens in the NFL. It happened in high school. I've seen it happen before. But I'm like, 2 games in a row on the road though, and you didn't move him down to the ground level at like halftime of either of these games. I'm like, nah, you was covering for Zach ass, and Zach was kind of not doing a good job getting that play call in quick enough. So you done moved him down to the booth to help him to get that communication better. I thought that was a great decision. I don't know what Ike Hilliard was or was not contributing, but what I do know is that when Penix was in, it seemed like, you know, there was always something a little bit with the receiver. There was always a route here, there, where it was like, nah, those two dudes, he throwing a spot and you supposed to be catching a spot, but these things ain't lining up.
Exactly, man. Exactly, dude. You said a very good point, man. Improvement, man. We've harped on Raheem at times
Yep.
about his decision making, and to his credit, he has gone out and actively improved those things.
Right.
Yeah, so every little complaint I've had, he has improved on that, or he has actively made an attempt to improve on that. So
Right.
as a fan, that's all you can ask for. So I'm happy about that. And it's funny you mentioned it. I saw a funny quote with Bijan and Zach Robinson. Where he was like at halftime, he was like, "Man, I should have came down the field level a long time ago." And I'm just like, you think?
And then it pissed you off because see, let me tell you what fans,
Yeah.
fans, especially Falcons fans, and for good reason. But we be impatient. So like I'll go on like the Falcons subreddit or go in on some Falcons YouTube page or something, and people say, "Man, Raheem should have been did that. Da, 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 da. He should have been did that." Da, 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 da. I'm like, that should be crazy. No, none of these coaches are perfect. All of these basically, if Andy Reid is not your head coach, everybody complain about their coach. I'm like, none of these coaches are perfect, and they got a lot of shit on their plate. And if
Thank
at
you, my
least he's
boy.
trying to fix it, and y'all mad when he tried to fix it too. I'm just like, come on, man. Look, Bills fans, they fucking hate Sean McDermott. That man got there, took and look, let me tell you something. I'm about to get on Bills fans' ass for that because did you remember where your franchise was before Sean McDermott walked through that door? You know what I'm saying? I believe y'all had the longest playoff drought in the NFL when Sean McDermott took that franchise over. Now, he has had Josh Allen, let's not forget. But I think in the early years of that, the coach make the quarterback. Then once the quarterback developed, the quarterback make the coach. Um, so I'm like,
That's kind of how it goes.
bro, all Sean McDermott has done since he's been there, basically, like after he got Allen, he got his quarterback, because all coaches need a quarterback for the most part. After he got his quarterback, all he's done is win the division, go to the playoffs every year, go to the conference finals, every other year or so, and they hate this dude. They hate that. They think he's shit. Nick Sirianni was
I
on
was just
his.
about to bring his name up, dog. Was just about to bring his name up.
Those
That
boys about to
dude,
go down there torches and pitchforks and come. They were about to chase him out his house.
dog.
And walk that man in Philly.
The previous year, he made the Super Bowl. The following year, he's already on the hot seat.
Hey,
He won the
after
Super
making
Bowl.
the playoffs.
Doc, he won the Super Bowl this year. I guarantee you, if they didn't start off 4-0, there'd be some rumblings.
Nigga, Doug Peterson got fired like 2 years after winning the Super Bowl. Them boys do not be playing in Philly, boy. Them boys said get him up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, everybody. Hey, look, Todd Bowles. Bucks fans was hating Todd Bowles too, but now that they done been, winning the division under Bowles, they trust him more because they like, all right, they thought Arians was the mastermind and that Todd Bowles was just, one of Bruce Arians' lackeys. And then, when he got in control, it was like he was going to shit the bed. But since they've been winning the division, now they done calm down. But they was ready to get rid of him too. So we bring up all those examples to say, it's not just a Falcon thing when I'm saying that, Falcons fans are really impatient and everybody want their coach out. But my thing is, let's not get let's not see a coach doing something good, doing the right thing, and then reprimand them and turn that into something negative because they didn't do it when you wanted them to do it or whatever. I'm like, damn, we've been 4 games into the year. 4 games into the year. Raheem done cut his kicker. Raheem done fired his wide receiver coach. Raheem done made his old offensive coordinator come down from the booth to the floor. Those are 3 major changes. And he did them in the first 4 games, technically, after the third game. All of those decisions happen, but they don't go into effect with Raheem and Ike Hilliard until the next week. But or we don't see the result of that on the field until the next week. But I'm like, bruh,
Thank you, dog. And what did we? I
we
mentioned it
still got
last.
13 games now, and we've already made those changes.
Thank you. And I mentioned it last week. A little quote about Nick Saban and how he likes to adjust things and address things before a mountain becomes a molehill. You know what I'm talking?
Get on it early.
Or a molehill become a mountain. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, get on it earlier. And I gotta commend Raheem for that because he has seen problems arise and has gotten on them early. I gotta give credit where credit is due for that. Because we see it.
For the most part, at an appropriate time, because let me tell you what used to piss me off. People saying, "Oh, we should have been got rid of Koo." I'm like, we should have been got rid of Koo. So let me ask, was it 2023? We should have been got rid of Koo when he was like one of the best kickers in the league.
When we won 7 games and he hit like 4-game winners.
Oh hell, even last year when y'all talk about the games he cost us, he ain't talking about the games he won us. We had to kick a 60-yard field goal to win the game against the Saints because the offense couldn't get the ball anywhere closer. Like they stunk it up really on that last drive. Or that other game when he had to hit like a 57-yarder against Tampa to send that game to overtime. Y'all could have been sitting here with boo-boo taste in your mouth if he missed that kick. So I'm like, what? The coach just supposed to abandon him right there? And then Raheem specifically has 2 separate stints with Koo as his guy. He was like, no, I remember when we first moved to Koo, back in Dan Quinn and his last year the first time, and then he came back around. He's like, no, I know this dude. Let me give him a chance. You know what I'm saying? He has won us games. So it's like that's an overreaction. I brought up Zach Robinson, talk about how the communication was pretty good. Last year it didn't seem like they had problems getting the play in, so it's not like you think to yourself readily, okay, we need to get him down to the floor. You know what I'm saying? And Zach Robinson didn't even know he liked that better, so it's not like Zach Robinson could say, hey, I've called plays up in the booth, I've called plays on the ground, I prefer to call it here. It's not like he had a preference. You know what I'm saying? That's where he thought he wanted to be, because and this is where you can get on Raheem if you wanna. He hired an inexperienced offensive coordinator that never called plays, so he don't know what his preference is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He don't know he like calling the plays on the field better than in the booth. He don't know that shit yet. Maybe if he had experience, he would know. Because you see, Jeff Ulbrich was on the field the whole time. That's what Jeff Ulbrich liked to be. But Vic Fangio for the Eagles, he want to be in the booth. That's where he is now. That's just where he at in his career. So, you can ding him for that, but that's basically the reality of what he's dealing with. And then the other issue, I don't know what was going on with Ike Hilliard or whatever. Maybe that was deserving, maybe he was scapegoated, whatever. But so far we got one game to go off of, and we see something that appears to be an improvement. Now, I will admit, I think in this past game, Zach Robinson called a better game. Uh,
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
felt like I saw more play action. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the numbers are. I'm sure the statistics out there somewhere. But sometimes I just go off for the eye, and the eye tells me that there were situations where we ran way more play action. And I think seeing how effective some of those plays was, because we got sacked on one of them. I saw a replay. I think I watched part of God damn it, what is it called, JT O'Sullivan YouTube show, Quarterback School.
I'm not quite familiar with that.
I think JT O'Sullivan, former backup quarterback, NFL has a YouTube channel, Quarterback School. Basically, when he showed that play, that Michael Penix got sacked off of a play action, we had Darnell Mooney who was open going across the field, but something about the setup made the play develop. No, somebody blew their block a little bit with the blocking assignments. Well, I don't want to say they blew their block, but I mean that's kind of what happened. The blocking got fudged, and Penix got sacked before Mooney hit his window, and they missed out on a huge play on that. But that would have been a huge play designed off of play action. We scored the touchdown to Kyle Pitts off of play action. So I enjoyed seeing that a lot more. I also saw us just regularly throw out of that. So that was another thing I saw um, on quarterback school, and I like noticed it, but you don't make the connection. Oh shit, that was like a huge pass out of pistol. So the play where Bijan with a 69-yard catch and run, it completely like just slipped my mind. Oh shit, we were in pistol when we ran that. Like that was our the formation that we run out of, and I'm sure that Washington saw Bijan in the backfield and just was like, yeah, it's Bijan in the backfield. They in pistol. They about to run it. And Washington was a man. So our two receivers were able to carry him across. Bobby Wags kind of got caught up in that, and it's Bijan. Bobby Wags is, I think he's even older than I am. So you get caught up in that. You ain't catching that young boy running down the sideline.
That's a
Um,
fact.
but also, man, we're finally starting to use Bijan to his ultimate potential a little bit. I felt like with Bijan, the best way to use him. So like, if you got a guy like Derrick Henry, right? You don't need to get him involved in the pass game. Turn around and hand the ball off to him about 30 times, 25, 30 times. That's how you get the most out of Derrick Henry. He need more carries, more Henry, more better. Pretty much
Mm-hmm.
that simple for him because he gets stronger as the game goes on, and he's a big guy. But with Bijan, that's the kind of back where it's like, hey, look, if he more of a Marshall Falk than an Earl Campbell. You know what I'm
Couldn't
saying?
agree more, man.
Yeah, you got to let him. You got to use them in different ways. You got to let him run routes. You got to let him run it. Honestly, hell, it's a bye week. Let's go ahead and make some predictions for the future. One of the first predictions, I think, old Bijan gonna get that old thousand.
Woo! If he
What?
do
Ain't he on?
that, if he
Yeah,
do that, he got to be a front runner for MVP, man.
I think. What? Ain't he already on like his second 100-yard game in 4 games? You know what I'm saying? And both of them had a huge play because I think we're gonna be able to milk that a little more too. At least in the beginning, where if we get these plays out of the right formation and isolate Bijan against linebackers. Because I'm like, look, honestly, that was a big thing missing against Carolina. A lot of that coverage, that weakest coverage was at the linebacker spot, and we not isolating those guys with Bijan and with Kyle Pitts. Well, speaking of which, bruh, Pitts, man, that boy Pitts is looking, he looking like the guy I knew he could be this year. And I'm just so happy about that because this could have been a year I looked real stupid hanging on to Pitts. That's another guy who a lot of people I was seeing, well, I won't say a lot, but I saw some people saying, oh, we should have been got rid of Pitts. And I'm like,
Oh,
then
really?
get rid of
When we
him
had
later.
when we had Marcus Mariota as quarterback, who got him hurt, or when we had Desmond Ritter as quarterback, who was just not it. And I love Ritter as a person, but he just wasn't it. So when should we have gotten rid of him?
Oh, my bad, my bad. No. You forgot. We should have gotten rid of him after his 1,000 yard season as a rookie.
You're right. That's when we should have got rid of him.
Oh wait, my bad, my bad. It was when he was coming back from a knee injury.
You know what? Maybe that was it.
That's what it. That's when it was. Yeah, that's when we
Yeah.
should have gotten. You know what I'm saying? People just say these things, and I'm just like, man, use your noggin. Like, don't just say it. Say like, all right, when is this supposed to happen?
As somebody who you've drafted in the first round, we haven't even decided if we want to give him another contract yet. Let him play this out. Because next year, we can either franchise tag him or extend him. We will see.
I think they was maybe thinking about a trade or whatever, but I'm like, no, like you've already seen what he can do. Like,
And you
some
gonna
of the
take
top of the
another one of
league.
Michael Penix's weapons away? Like, really? After all the draft capital we invested on his offense, you gonna take him away just like that and replace him with who?
And wait, what you
Replace him
gonna
with
get for
who?
him?
Come on, bro. For something as a lesser product. Granted, he hasn't panned out, but people need to understand the full scope of his first 4 years here.
And even last year, I'm like, when people be like, people just throw that bus label around like crazy. I'm like, y'all do know Pitts was like a top 12 tight end last year. Like, he's still at least like average-ish or above average, slightly above
Thank
average.
you, man.
So like, all right, fine. You know, you're looking at all the people that got taken, after Pitts. You see the Jamar Chases, you see the Patrick Surtains, you see the Michael Parsons, and fair enough. Fair enough, because guess what? The Falcons could still use another corner to pair with AJ Terrell. The Falcons might not need another pass rusher. We'll see. But you ain't gonna convince me that adding Michael Parsons was gonna be a bad move. I can't be convinced of that.
No, of course. It just financially, it just wasn't feasible at the moment. Just get considering we're paying Kirk all this money.
Right? No,
But
but
hey,
I mean from the draft though.
oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
that makes
And
sense. That
adding
makes
Jamar
sense.
Chase, that would have been a slam dunk good move too. All of those players would have been the right pick at that time. But also, did you remember some of the people who went ahead of him that draft? You know, one of Justin Fields was a guy that we probably could have looked at. Justin Fields went ahead of him in that draft. I believe. No, Justin Fields sure didn't. Good Lord, he went later on to the Bears. Sorry, that's my mistake. But you know who did go ahead of both of them? Trey Lance.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And who else? It was another quarterback too. But I'm saying, like, look, guys fuck up all the time, man. You know what I'm
All
saying?
the time,
Guys,
baby. It take a little minute, bro. It
so
take a
like I'm
minute,
like,
man.
hey, you could be out here. All we need are a quarterback, and then you take Trey Lance, and now you didn't shit the bed, ruin the franchise. You know what I'm saying? You got to be happy that you got a guy. And again, the other players, I mean, those would have been the right decision. I'm not trying to, act like, all right, Falcons, y'all didn't have a need at those positions, and Pitts probably ended up here because Arthur Smith loved him some tight ends. All right, but like let's just keep a little perspective. All right, let's not just way overreact to the fact that all right, Pitts had the one good year, and Pitts had a year where he got hurt and he had bad quarterback play, and it's like damn, y'all just think certain people are supposed to be
That's what
overcoming
I'm saying. He
everything.
got hurt because of bad quarterback play.
They're like, damn, no, fuck the fact that you hurt and getting bad quarterback play. You're not producing like you're supposed to. Like that dude was in. He like when the year he came back from the injury, he was in danger of missing some games in the beginning of the year because he was not back. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, whatever. That's that. Um, what else? Oh, it was fantastic seeing the 9 to 5 connection.
Ooh,
That was
man. It
real
felt good.
strong.
It felt good seeing a 9 to 5, baby. Always
Yeah.
open. That felt great. That felt great.
Look, it felt extra good for my fantasy team too. I was like, thank you, Lord. I was like, man, between Drake and DK, man, I was kind of on the ass end of an ass whipping at that position group. But
No, I hear
both of
you.
them boys
I hear
pitched
you.
last week. Yeah, and Drake did. And it was nice just because look, man, I know that shit got to be a little frustrating for those guys because Penix, one of the things that had us excited was shit. Penix was talking that good shit. He was kind of talking that good shit in the off season. He
He
was
was.
like,
He was. I'm glad we kind of got to have a get right game after that. That's another thing too. Another thing that shows good coaching. We got beat 30-0.
yeah, you got your teeth kicked in.
Curb stomped.
Yeah,
And then we came out the next week and performed. That's
yep.
good coaching right there. I'm gonna tip my cap to Raheem for that.
I mean, look, I didn't think this was gonna turn into an episode of a bunch of us talking about a bunch of good shit Raheem did, but I guess for me personally, I just want to keep proper perspective. Now, I ain't saying if the Falcons shit the bed this year that Raheem don't gotta go. I'm
Oh yeah, I'm
yeah.
taking it week. I'm taking it week to week, but
There you go.
like you said, perspective. I've noticed the thing he has improved on, and I'm acknowledging it.
Yeah, and that's really what it's about. It's
Yeah.
about just making note of the facts in whole. So I'm about to take y'all back to a little small part of my childhood. I was a huge Beast Wars fan. I don't know if any of y'all watched that. That was basically Transformers, but animals and dinosaurs in
Oh, I
caveman
loved it,
time.
man. I loved
All
it.
right. And so I think it was Code Hero or some shit like that. That was the name of the episode. One of the Transformers, he was a guy who was a bad guy who became a good guy, but then they had some shit going on, and basically he did some super heroic shit. He on his deathbed, and he's saying them boys was talking about him, and he basically was like, don't lie when you tell my story. He said, when you tell my story, speak of my good deeds and my ill ones, and let me be judged accordingly. I thought that was some ice cold shit. He was like, hey, I ain't saying just be when I die say all good shit about me because I know I wasn't all good. But I want my good and bad told, and let me to be judged accordingly. And so I feel like with Raheem, you know how sports fans are. You know how we are. People, they when the team suck, this person they suck. Everything suck. When the team good, everything good. It's like, nah, it ain't like that. Let's just weigh it out for what it is
Mm-hmm.
and judge it accordingly. All right. Clock management got to admit, brother, I still could use some improvement there. But as far as decision making, knowing when to jump on something early and go ahead and change it early, I mean, look, we got to give this brother some props. And you know who else kind of needs some props too? Now that we are here, sucking everybody off. And it's time to admit that shit, Terry ate it up a little bit these last couple drafts.
That's the thing about drafts. You need more time before you can actually give an accurate assessment.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we're going week to week, the guys from last year are looking even better. The guys from this year, oh my god! And granted, the circumstances are different. The defense has been put in the defense, well, especially these young guys have been put in a position to succeed. They have the proper veteran leadership around them. They
Mm-hmm.
got a great DC. Oh man, Xavier Watson, that's the Jesse Bates. I love it. I love it, man. I love it.
And
Jalen
Billy Bowman
Carter,
in the slot. I mean, look, it's 4 games,
exactly, and
but
Billy Bowman in the slot, and then you got Jalen Carter and James Pierce Jr.
not
learning
Jalen
from.
Carter, Jalen Walker.
I'm sorry,
Carter
you got
is
Jalen
doing.
Walker and James Pierce Jr. learning from Leonard Floyd and our other vets. Ooh, ooh, and you know they're gonna get, and you know they're going to get quality reps. This is a defense that doesn't really have any stalwarts. We don't really have that marquee guy. We don't have
Right.
a Micah Parsons. We got platoons, baby. We
We
just
do though.
we can send out waves. Like it's not like how other teams got. Like we got depth, and that's a beautiful thing to have in NFL. But we got depth on like our edge positions, and it's I love it. Now we need to make some improvements in the DB room
Yeah,
come next
yeah.
year.
But I
But
mean,
hey,
let's be real now. We made some improvements this offseason. We just need to find another number two corner.
really, that's it.
And
If I'm
really,
keeping it a
that's it.
buck,
You might, we'll see now. We'll see.
yeah,
You got to, sometimes they start out good and they
yeah.
shit the bed later. Sometimes they start out bad and then they get good later. But as of right now, You're feeling real good about both your starting safeties. You're feeling good about your nickel corner. You're feeling good about your number one corner. That's really just one spot. And, Mike Hughes ain't scrap. He's a.
Yeah. And we're feeling good about our edge, man. And our interior rush. Like Rook is improved. Anyamata has found his
I,
second win.
what?
I'm whew,
Ain't Rook like one of the most productive, at least from like a pass rush run rate,
yeah.
a pressure percentage or some shit, like one of those stats that mean that he's getting a lot of pressure. I think Rook like so far through 4 games, he's like the best in the league, and I'm like, this dude didn't even play last year for real.
Hey man.
Um,
Our hey. Hey.
and you know what? Hey, if Raheem make a stupid hire at defensive coordinator, maybe this ain't happening. So that
You
goes
know
back
what?
to
That's the silver lining.
yeah. Damn, I did not see this episode coming, man. Just so y'all know, we a lot of these thumbnails, even if they good ones or whatever, and it seem real thematic, I'm like, man, we made that shit after the fact. I knew what was gonna happen. I had no idea. I just was like, hey, man, let's just do it because it seemed to go right. So yeah, as I stated, I did not think we was
Mhm.
gonna be defending Raheem as much as we turned into, but um, well, look, we're gonna look. It's early. We talking good about Raheem now, but if he start fucking up, you damn right, we're gonna get in that ass. So that's just gonna
Mhm.
be what that is. We on the Buffalo next week. We're gonna do an episode that's a proper preview of that game. Um, But before we get to that, before we do that, since we are already at the end of the episode, Cam, man, tell me what's up, man. What you think might, at least while you high off the hopium and the bye
Yeah.
week and shit, you think we got a chance against Buffalo?
Absolutely, man. The hard part will be making sure we can stop the run. Buffalo can run the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
But if we can if we can mitigate the run a little bit, and I know say make Josh Allen throw, considering Josh Allen can make all the throws.
Yeah.
Like this is a different caliber quarterback.
It sure is.
We talking about the MVP. We're playing the MVP.
The
So the MVP. So
reigning and defending.
it's gonna take everything. It's gonna take a complete team effort. Special teams will have to come up together. Defense is gonna have to play well. Offense is gonna have a repeat performance of last week because we're gonna have to put up points to match Buffalo's. So
Yeah, brother.
all things
That go
considered,
without saying.
I think we got a chance.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, all I want to see something is I want to see more building blocks on this game. I just want to see us build off this last one. Like if we regress a little bit, I will be upset. If we lose but we look good, like Penix play well, like we just get beat by a better player, a better team. I can live with that. But as long as we're improving, the trajectory is still going up. I can live with it.
All right, brother. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with that. I try to again keep perspective, right? If somebody would have told you when you saw the beginning of the year, the schedule, saw the first 4 games, and you saw the Falcons were 2-2, and then if after 5 games, because the Bills the fifth game, if the Falcons were 2-3 after that, you'd be like, all right, that's kind of about what I expected. Honestly, I still got hope. So, let's just keep that in perspective, keep that in mind, and that, in fact, is the silver lining. All right, y'all know what it is, man. We wrapping this thing up. We over at x.com as well. Just trying to grow this thing out a little bit. That's at the AG Lining 91 at x.com. I don't know how to say a handle. Sorry, I suck. But please like, subscribe, share, comment, hit the little bell. We gonna hear some real niggas uploading. Peace.
Peace. All right, my boy. I'm actually about to head out right now.